It's the internet, you're busy, let's do this. I'm Jeff Grubb for GamesBeat.com, and I'm here to talk about the Razer Kiyo camera from Razer, obviously. This is essentially a review. I will be going over the points of the camera that I really like, the things I don't like, but I'm also going to be doing it as a comparison to the Logitech C920, which I think is the go-to webcam for live streaming, broadcasting, and even vlogging for some people. But it's also that way because it's like it's the best bang for your buck in a lot of cases. Now, the Razer Kiyo, it is out now. It is shipping from Razer and Amazon, a bunch of stores, for $100. Razer just introduced it alongside a couple of other products. For example, it's Razer Siren X, which I just did a review of on this channel. You could see it there if you want. Also on GamesBeat.com to read the review. There's also a text review of this one on that website. If you buy, I think, the camera with the mic, it's like $20 off total, basically. They like drop it from $100 to $80, and they're both $100. So it's like $180 total for the cam and the microphone. The microphone's pretty good. The cam, I think, is really good, actually. We could just hop right into this, though. Those were the major details. Let's take a look at this camera. So what are the basic features here? I think the thing that will stand out to most people immediately is the ring light. It's on right now. You can see if I put my hand up real close just how bright that is. Let me turn it off to show you guys kind of the work it's doing here. I do have room lights off to the side, which typically I don't use when I'm doing this, like the camera dead on my face for live streaming, things like that. I actually have a big LED panel light up here that I use to light the front of me, and then I actually use the Razer Kiyo now to even out the lighting on my face. But right now I have the room lighting on. I didn't want to have the big LED panel on for the comparison, so this is just kind of what it looks like, maybe in a normal room. If you're just in a plain room with some lights off to the side and you put the Kiyo up on top of your monitor, this is what it's going to look like. You could see I'm getting some noise up in the top left of the image there. That is the that's some gain noise. I have the gain turned up because it is pretty dark in this room, and I wanted to keep the exposure down to keep the frame rate up. It's a whole thing. But getting back to this ring light, let's go ahead and turn that down just to show. And you can see it does make a big difference. It is not going to be. It's not going to make a gigantic difference. This is not a light that is going to change. It's not going to like replace, for example, my LED panel light up here. I still use this primarily for lighting, but I mean, I'll just turn this on. My face is going to be blown all to hell with this thing on. Yeah, you can see how shiny I am with it. But you can see it like especially my eyes, the wells of my eyes. There's a little bit of shadow there. If I turn this on, I think it's sort of even. Well, again, it's so the settings are so set up for this thing, you can't really tell. But the thing that this camera does better than anything else with this light, as the primary feature, is it does even out the lighting across your face. So if you have shadows, I can turn it off again. You see, like those are my room lights. This camera's still pretty good. I probably would go in the settings and turn up the gain if this is what it looked like. Turn down the exposure and try to beef up the brightness of this image. But then you start to lose some other things. But with this light, I can just hit this, and now it looks pretty good, in my opinion. Now, there are some other options out there. We'll get into that in a little bit. Some other features of this thing, it does do 60 frames per second. Again, when I use the LED panel here, I could turn the exposure down even more, and then it looks even smoother. But I think it looks pretty good. It's especially noticeable alongside gameplay. You kind of know what it looks like, and we could just go to it right now, the Logitech C920. Ghosting isn't the right word, but there's sort of like just a little bit of blur. Yeah, motion blur. You can see with my hand especially. It's kind of cleaned up a little bit here on the Kiyo. Now, does that matter to you? I don't know. Like I said, I think when you put the 60 frames per second of your face, and maybe you have a green screen behind you and it's just your body moving alongside game footage that you're live streaming to Twitch or YouTube or Mixer, I think it looks pretty good. It looks clean, and like everything is bundled together nicely in a one image, like one sort of ideal image that you're sending to the user. everything's 60 frames per second. It all works together. I don't know. It's just not as distracting, I think. But other people are going to feel differently. That's fine. But the point is, this camera does do 60 frames per second at 720p, where at 720p the C920 does not. Other features, this isn't a really feature. Maybe we could start diving into some of these the aspects about this camera that I really like that aren't necessarily features. It just comes down to the image quality. I think that it gets colors really nice. Like it kind of accurately portrays the way colors look, or at least the way I want them to look when they're on camera. So you can see the yellow of the Star Wars hoodie. It's busting through. You could see the white speckles that are in the sweater, the black of the sweater. You could see them pretty clearly. And then the green on this green screen actually looks pretty green. Now, when we go to the Logitech C920, excuse me, I have gas. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it looks a little bit more dull, doesn't it? I mean, we hop back. Yeah, the green here, it just looks something, it looks like a darker green. That's not what this green is. It's not what that looks like when I look back at it myself. That's the green. And this matters to me because, if I'm trying to chroma key this out, if I'm trying to eliminate this background for, whatever, if I'm, live streaming, I'm using OBS or XSplit, I want that green to be as vibrant as possible so that the chroma key can come in and handle it really easily. Now, on the C920, we can turn up like the color intensity. This is something I kind of want you guys to see for yourself, because I'm going to go right here. Let's go into the settings for the C920 video input settings. And then of course it always goes in the background for some reason. Here's the color intensity. I'm going to turn it up. And if you look at the thing, a lot more green, right? But now look at my face. Why are there like red speckles all over my face now? I get all blotchy. And I hate it. I look really messed up. I look sickly. And maybe I am. Maybe this is how disgusting my face really is. But the point is, if I turn down the color intensity a little bit, it starts to clear up a little bit. And I start to have that, that complexion of those commercials, the name brand, I can't remember right now. Someone in the comments help me out. Mandy Moore sells the stuff. Yeah, so I try to find the happy medium here, but I'm going to hit cancel. This will go back to... Oh, okay. Well, now it's just completely jacked up. Logitech's camera settings bother me. They don't save right ever. I have to set them each time. Yeah, so that's a whole other thing. We'll have to fix that next time we go to look at the Logitech. But okay, so now we're on the Razer Kiyo, and we're getting that vibrant green, and my face doesn't look blotchy. It looks pretty clear. It looks nice. I think I have nice skin here. I would wear that skin. Not like that, or like that. I mean, it is my skin. I'm allowed to do with it whatever I want with it. Point is, I think this looks pretty good. That kind of gets into, so let's kind of look at these side by side. And here's where I'm actually going to have to fix this stupid camera. I like the C920. I'm being hard on it right this second. I really don't like the settings. The settings are stupid. They don't ever save. The white balance always gets set all the way down to the bottom. I don't like auto. The auto settings on all these cameras are bad. You always want to do this stuff manually to kind of get the best results. Kind of getting there. I think that's pretty close. Okay. So and you can see side by side, yeah, the Razer Kiyo is a step up. And I think that's the key here. I think that is where I would put the Razer Kiyo on a spectrum. So let's kind of talk about the options you have when you are trying to get a camera for live broadcasting on Twitch or YouTube or even making videos. So I think at the bottom end, there is like the C615, I think is what it is from Logitech. That is an option. I use that for a while. It's okay. The C920 is definitely better, and I do think it is the best bang for your buck. Maybe now, or maybe it was before, maybe the Razer Kiyo kind of is going to get in there. You can get the C920 for $60. I've seen it for like $45 recently. That's a really good deal for this camera. So that's, it's a really good bang for your buck, and most people are not going to need much better than the C920 for Twitch. because you're going to be this little face in the corner and the game's going to be this big thing. But, you know, if you do want to step up, the problem was before the Kiyo, you couldn't. There was no option to step up, really. You were like, you couldn't like just go one notch. You had to jump forward a huge amount. There were some like really expensive webcams you could have bought, but those were like overkill and not worth it. There were some like handy cams, some handheld cameras that you could connect to your computer, and that was always weird. It didn't work well. I think the best option right now, if you are willing to spend the money, is the Elgato Cam Link. This is I think it's $100 sort of HDMI to USB converter that works like a friggin' charm. It's an incredible thing. The more I think about that thing, the more I'm like, HDMI to USB, and you just plug it in and it just goes. That's awesome. There's other like things you could do with that, but for the most part, it's called the Cam Link. It's made for cameras, and it's made for this right here. The problem is, I think to really take advantage of the Cam Link, if you don't already have a camera sitting around that works well with it, and I had my T4i, didn't work well with it. It doesn't put out a clean HDMI signal. There are ways to sort of fudge that, but I was never happy with the results, even when I sort of started fudging. But you could buy like the $500 Panasonic G7, which is something I see a lot of people do. It's a mirrorless DSLR camera. It does really great in low light. It looks phenomenal. My phone keeps blowing up. But that's $500 on top of the price of the Cam Link. So like, what are we talking about? We're going to go from the C920 at $45 at its lowest to $600. Like, what's in between there? When I was looking a couple months ago, there was nothing. And now I think the Kiyo is just this next logical step. It fits in perfectly at $100. And the improvement you get from going from $45 to $60 to up to $100, I think that's, I almost think maybe it is twice as good. It's about twice as good as the C920, the Kiyo. Now, again, as you shrink your image, the video image, to put it down here at the the bottom of your screen while you have the game happening, the less that difference is going to matter, and that you're going to lose that factor of 2. It's going to reduce to the factor of like 1.2. But like, if you ever do full screen, if you ever like look at the camera dead on and talk to people, which is something I think almost everyone on Twitch does at some point, you'll notice it. This is a big difference. And I think having that lighting right up front to even out your face is crucial. It's something that I've been very happy with, because I don't have to snap anything extra to my computer. It's already on the camera. The light's right there. And even with my big LED light, this light up here is great. But it does, like, I have to have it kind of off at an angle. Even if I did have it dead in front of me, like, where would I put it? I have my monitor here. I'd put it up. I get some weird shadows kind of no matter what. The thing with this camera, it's coming right at me with a circular pattern, and it's just it's diffusing this nice daylight right onto my face evenly, and I think it looks really good. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. What I don't like, I mean, I guess I don't like that, I feel like the light could be brighter. I feel like if you do have the C920, maybe it already is good enough in most situations. These are things that are like, okay, yeah, that's true, but also no, it is a step up, and no, the light's fine kind of for what you're doing. And the closer you get in, the more effective that light's going to be. And if you are a vlogger, I mean, you can see if I get in close, I am a oily, pasty Midwesterner. Yeah, I mean, you could see like, okay, yeah, now my face is really starting to pop, and that white light is doing a lot to bring out my features. And you could see like the reflection in the eye, which I think is something you see on a lot of YouTube videos, that white light that's piercing through people's eyes. That's usually because they have a ring LED light. And I think that looks cool. It makes eyes really pop as well. But you sit back and the light starts to really fade, and this is kind of the distance I'm at normally when I'm playing, and this is like maybe the maximum distance you can really be before you lose the benefits of the light. Although it is sort of still kind of keeping the evenness on my face pretty well. I kind of like starting right here. So that's good. Anything else? I mean, I don't know. We can go, let's go one last time over here. To me, the difference is obvious between these two cameras. Even like, you know, they both have a lot of noise happening right now. Again, that's just the you know, the way I have my room set up. But this might be the way your room is set up. And if that's the case, this is kind of what it's going to look like. If you are looking for good enough, and maybe this is the thing I really am, maybe this is the big negative about the Razer Kiyo. If you are okay with good enough, maybe do just save the money and go with the C920. And if you really aren't happy and you want the best you can possibly do, maybe you should just get into it and invest in a cam link. And instead of spending money on a small upgrade to the Kiyo, I mean, you know, a significant upgrade, maybe instead put that money toward saving up for a legit camera that you could plug into the cam link. But at the same time, I have a cam link, and I'm not really thinking about doing that. The Kiyo is simple. It's easy to use. It just kind of does everything I want right off the bat. It's, you know, USB powered. I don't have to worry about plugging a million things in like you do with the cam link. The cam link can be a hassle if you don't have a lot of room. I don't have a ton of room back here. I'd have to like really rearrange my setup. So yeah, I mean, there are pros and cons here, but I think overall, I recommend the Kiyo. It is, I think it's a really smart product from Razer. You know, with the Siren X, I'm like, there's some caveats here that come down to just the quality that you're going to get relative to the competitors. And I still recommend it for broadcasting specifically, not voiceover or podcast, because, you know, it's small and it works well and you don't have to think about it too much, and it still captures your voice really well. But, you know, once you start trying to do an audio podcast, you're going to notice the deficiencies of that microphone. I think with this camera, the C920, it's sort of like, it's a little bit reversed, I think. Whereas I was comparing the Siren X to the Blue Yeti, and the Blue Yeti is like the go-to microphone, and it's pretty damn good for what it is for people starting out. For being a USB microphone, it delivers relatively high quality, you know, results. I think the opposite is true here, where the C920 is the go-to, but you know, it's the quality is so much better on the Kiyo that I don't have to have the same caveats. Where, yeah, no, the Kiyo is good for broadcasting for sure, but if you are vlogging with the C920, well, you know, the Kiyo is actually better. It's actually going to improve your full screen camera takes, and that's a big deal. So I think I'm just rambling now, but I am really happy with this camera. I'm going to be turning it into my daily driver here for any broadcasting I do. If you've seen like the PUBG family dinner last week or the last couple weeks, I've been using this camera for my my face in those broadcasts. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna, it's gonna be plugged in. I'm gonna probably put away the C920 for a while, and save a USB port. Ride a cowboy. It doesn't make any fucking sense. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Jeff Grubb for GamesBeat.com. Again, you can get the review for this product there. This was the Razer Kiyo review. It is out now, $100. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.